So when we look at this, it definitely indicates some sort of solar connection. And when I drew my middle line, I realized what it represented, and that is, I recently realized what it represented, and I believe it to be the ecliptic. And the ecliptic is basically just the solar plane of our solar system, which all the planets and the asteroid belt all rotate around, the Kuiper belt. They all rotate around the sun on this ecliptic line. And so while the Earth will rotate on the equator, it will be in line with the ecliptic. So if this were the ecliptic plane here, our Earth would rotate at this angle. Okay? So that's how the Earth would rotate in this direction. And when we look at the ecliptic here, what we'll see is that this line is based off of the current solar calendar, or the solar calendar is currently based off of this. And so this middle line is represented here at Mt Hikurangi in New Zealand, the place where we see first solar light on land of the year. So on January 1st, this is the first area location of solar light besides Antarctica, which is going to be receiving 24 hours of light. This is going to be the first light on land. So when we look at the lines, we see that there's definitely a purpose to them. And now, someone just recently sent me a message saying that the prime meridian is just arbitrary, but when we look at this, we see how this cuts our ecliptic line perpendicularly, perfectly, okay? And, the person who was asking me, or basically telling me that Karl Monk's The Code describes how the former prime meridian was in Egypt. And it may have been, but it didn't have anything to do with this current layout. Because when we look at this layout, it's based off of solar movements. And when we look at the Egyptian, we'll call it the Cairo meridian, if we were to look at that, it does not hit our ecliptic line in a perpendicular fashion. It actually is an oblique angle here. Whereas here, we have a perpendicular line. And so this just tells me that this is not, it's just not correct. And that is why they've moved the meridian here. Now when we look at my one video which just caused a lot of controversy is the proof of pole shift video, which, now with my research having gone as far as it has,